and welcome back to the sewing room. Here's everything that happened since we last caught up. I'm sharing the beautiful fabrics that I was given as Christmas gifts and some things that I bought for myself. Whoops! I whipped up 2 new dresses and I'll show you my toile for this vintage McCall's tunic pattern. Hi, I'm Amy of Almond Rock and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, thanks for tuning in. It was a really busy end to the year and now 2026 is already in full swing. I hope you managed a bit of time in your sewing room. I had a lovely Christmas with family, and maybe you saw my fun video challenge that I did with my husband. I shared it here on Shorts. He chose my outfits for 12 days and we shared each look in a silly video. My favourite day was when he conspired to involve my mum and sister-in-law to join in on Christmas Eve. Thank you for watching, everyone. Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
It seems that after 15 years of sewing, my family have finally built up the confidence to buy fabric for me. It's scary enough for regular sewists to figure out what to buy online, with fabric compositions being hidden in with lots of text and some shops selling by half a metre instead of a full metre. So I was really impressed with what they picked. Let's start with something wintry. My mother-in-law generally likes to buy things in person, but after introducing her to Oliver Bonus, she's gotten braver at shopping online. She bought me this plaid floral twill. It's like a brushed twill from Dalston Fabrics. Perfect for both winter or summer, I think. Very transitional. And she got me 3 meters, which will help with some print matching. And I've got a few ideas for a cute dress with this one. Maybe Vogue 9100. I do like the square neck on that dress. If you haven't seen Oh So Fearless on Instagram, she made a modified Upton dress from cashmerette with this fabric. I think that's what's inspired my square neckline idea. Next up, my lovely hubby bought me 3 meters of tencel in a Monstera palm leafy print from Rainbow Fabrics. It feels amazing and I can't wait for warmer weather to sew this up. I mean, I'm not really a winter person, which you'll have seen from my other fabric shopping videos and all my makes. I'm always chasing the sun. So this will be good as a floaty dress. I've got some time to figure out what pattern to use, but I'm up for suggestions. Now, forgive me for repeating myself, but you might remember from my roundup of the Knit and Stitch Festival video that my mum bought me some fabric for Christmas on the day and then accidentally sent it home with me. Well, I'm happy to report I gave it back to her and then cheered with fake surprise when I opened the gift. So funny. It's this beautiful textured cotton. And when I opened it, my sister-in-law immediately said, "That has to be something dramatic when you make it up." So I showed her the inspiration image from Dream Sister Jane and she loved it. She said it was spot on. So I'm glad I'm not the only person who sees the vision. I have a hot pink cotton lawn in my stash that I'm going to use for a slip dress underneath. And then I think I am going to dye it a very pale pink. Perfect for spring. Last up of the Christmas presents is a fun spot stripe fabric from Hey Sew Sister. It's called Boba Stripe. I think it's block print. My sister-in-law didn't exactly know what she was ordering, so I ended up with 2 1-meter pieces of this lovely block print lightweight cotton. When you have 2 large pieces, it doesn't really matter if this fabric's cut into 2 rather than a single piece. I'll be able to work around that with no problems. And this fabric, or one nearly identical, was used for a shirt dress with a ruffle collar on a brand that I like called Day Dress. I'm popping that up on the screen. I really like their dresses. They also have this fun sundress in another one of the colorways in pink. And I quite fancy using this for a bib front blouse. This vintage McCall's M8621 shirt dress pattern is so fun and I want to shorten it off into a blouse. So I had a go at making some flat adjustments and whipping up a toile. As always, I knew the shoulders would be too wide and the neckline too high for me, so I did a narrow shoulder adjustment straight away, and then I lowered the entire neckline seam by around 1.5 centimeters around the whole neckline. It's quite a simple construction, with the bib being cut in two pieces and then folded to be self-faced. Then they're installed in the round opening and finished with, like, on the inside with turned under seam allowances. I'm actually considering using seam binding for another option on the inside. So here we go, the first toile, and we can see that bust dart is too high. It's sitting above my apex. I'm going to have to lower that dart by about 1.5 centimeters. The shoulder is still too wide. That's where the seam should be. But the neck is looking pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. So yeah. Once I nail the fit, I'm going to add a frill around the bib and the little collar. My only reservation about using this fabric is that the bib might get a bit lost with the large stripes. So I do have some other fabrics in my stash that would also work. I'm going to tweak the dart and the ease at the hip and tinker with the shoulder a little more. So I went back into the tissue. You can see that rounded off neckline with the 1.5 centimeters removed. And then I started to reshape the armhole even further. The green is the seam line. And then I've moved the dart down by about 1.5 centimeters. So yeah, I'm ready to do a second twirl. Now, because I didn't know I was getting fabric for Christmas, I used a Fabric Godmother voucher that I've been holding on to in early December. Silly me. Now, my stash is healing. I bought two things. This beautiful tile print crepe illustrated by Lindsay of Constant Maker on Instagram. I got 2.5 meters because I want to make a version of my pasta print Butterick 6757 birthday dress. Say that 10 times fast. But with longer sleeves. Both Shreya of Juno Loves Thread and Ruby of Raccoon Tail, they're both on Instagram. They've both made similar silhouettes in this fabric, so I know it's going to work. And then I bought 2 meters of the Fabric Godmother Advent Calendar Special print. This celebration design viscose has cocktails, bows, sparkles, all on a rich green base. This print is like my dream fabric. I mean, I would have loved it if the scale was ever so slightly smaller, but it's so fun and I had to have it. So I immediately set about making a new dress for the festive season. This is Butterick 6806, which you may remember I use all the time, but I like to hack it a little each time I do. So I drafted a collar similar in size to the one I added to this Simplicity 9469 blouse, but without the scallops. And I wanted a drawstring waist because obviously Christmas is a good time for enjoying good food and drink. And I bought the most perfect hair bow from Beaded by Laura to tie in with the hot pink bows on the fabric. Then I found in my stash this hot pink bubble trim to use around the oversized pilgrim collar. Now, I'm not going to recommend this type of trim to anyone for any kind of dressmaking project because it was a bloody nightmare. Once you cut it, it unravels so fast, and I ended up having to use like fabric glue and hand stitches to secure the trim from unraveling further. That was even before I'd attached it. And then even when I was attaching it, I had problems, so I had to patch a piece right at the centre front, which was annoying, but I don't think you can see it. And then because I attached the whole thing by hand, I can remove it and replace it with another trim if it doesn't survive washing. I haven't got much hope for that trim. Once I'd finished it, I left it out in plain sight for several days to try and convince Jimmy to choose it for one of my festive fits. And he ended up choosing it for Christmas Day. Hooray! The other dress that I whipped up might shock you. Me in black. I used the Simplicity 9327 bodice and the Butterick 6676 skirt to make a simple pinafore dress. It's quite plain, I know, but I wanted to test out this silhouette, and I had the perfect size piece of black drill in my stash. Do you remember this from the Minerva Warehouse sale event haul that I shared? So this is a lovely twill fabric, slight amount of stretch. I have 1.1 meters. I'm going to make a skirt with this, I think. It was only 1.1 meters, but because it was 150 centimeters wide, I could squeeze this out easily. And I lined it in bright emerald green lining with black bias around the edges to avoid any colour peeping out when it's worn. I really enjoyed slow sewing this in Betwixtmas, you know, that strange period when you don't know what day it is. I hand stitched all the understitching, I hand sewed all the lining, and then worked really hard on my lap to zipper finish. And this is going to be great for wearing over turtlenecks and long sleeve tops or shirts this winter, but I definitely want to make it again in red or blue denim for a more colourful look. That's it for today. I'd love to know what you think though. Which fabrics caught your eye? Drop your favourite in the comments because I'm genuinely curious. Any pattern recommendations for the fabrics that you want to share, they would be great to see too. And let me know what you think of the McCall's vintage shirt with a bib. If you enjoyed hanging out with me today, give this video a thumbs up so I know to do more of these. And if you're new here, hit subscribe so you don't miss out. I would love to reach 7,000 subscribers. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy sewing, everyone!